Welcome everybody to another video of Ancient Greece Reloaded. Today we will talk about the famous Calypso, the nymph who lived on the island of Ogygia and detained Odysseus for 7 years. By the way, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so as to stay tuned for upcoming videos. Calypso is the name given to one of the minor goddesses of Greek mythology, and is of course primarily famous for her role in Homer's Odyssey, for Calypso is the nymph who, at one point, prevents Odysseus from returning home. Calypso is generally considered to be the nymph daughter of Atlas, by an unnamed woman, although in other ancient sources a Calypso is named as both an Oceanid, daughter of Oceanus and Thetys, and a Nereid, daughter of Nereus and Doris, although this could be 3 different Calypsos. The nymph daughters of Atlas were named amongst the most beautiful of all immortal goddesses, and Calypso was no exception. Calypso, though, did not display her beauty as part of the retinue of one of the more famous goddesses, like many other nymphs, for Calypso had made her home upon the island of Ogygia. Calypso comes to prominence when the Greek hero Odysseus arrived upon Ogygia. Odysseus had already faced many trials and tribulations upon his return journey from Troy. The latest misfortune that Odysseus faced had seen the loss of his final ship and men, when Zeus had destroyed them to appease to Helios. Odysseus had survived by fashioning a raft from the remnants of his ship. For 9 days Odysseus had drifted and paddled before washing up on the shoreline of Ogygia on the 10th day. Calypso would rescue the shipwrecked hero, and Odysseus was nursed within the home of the goddess. The home of Calypso has been referred to as both a cave and a palace, but in either case it was said to be a beautiful place surrounded by trees, vines, birds, animals and babbling streams. Later imaginings of the palace of Calypso would see the nymph to also have female attendants herself. As she nursed Odysseus, so Calypso fell in love with the Greek hero and was soon offering to make the king of Ithaca her immortal husband. Such an offer of eternity spent with an unaging beauty might sound unmissable, but Odysseus refused the goddess' offer, for Odysseus was still longing to return home to his wife Penelope. So, at night, Odysseus would share Calypso's bed, but every day he went to the shoreline, looking out in the direction of Ithaca. Despite the beauty of his companion and his surroundings, Odysseus simply viewed Ogygia as a prison, and for several years Odysseus would remain. The length of Odysseus' confinement was 7 years according to Homer, although others say that Odysseus was on Ogygia for only 1 or 5 years. Eventually the goddess Athena, who was an ally of Odysseus, came to the rescue of the Greek hero, for Athena went to her father Zeus to ask that he command Calypso to release her captive lover. Zeus agreed to Athena's request, and Hermes was dispatched to pass on Zeus' command. Whilst Calypso would welcome the arrival of Hermes, she would not welcome the news that the messenger god brought. Calypso felt that she was being unfairly treated, for it seemed to her that the male gods of Mount Olympus could do as they pleased with mortals, and yet goddesses were not allowed the same sort of freedom. Of course, Zeus himself had abducted Ganymede, and the Trojan prince was still to be found upon Mount Olympus serving the ambrosia and nectar. Calypso, though, ultimately had no choice, and so the goddess told Odysseus that he was now free to live. Calypso would indeed provide Odysseus with materials for a new boat, as well as provisions for a long journey across the sea. Thus, in a short time, Odysseus was leaving Ogygia and Calypso behind. The time that Odysseus and Calypso spent together was said to have brought forth several sons for the goddess. Hesiod would state that Calypso bore 2 sons, Nausithous and Nausinous, whilst other ancient sources also name Latinus and Telegonus as sons of Calypso, although these 2 are more commonly named as sons of Circe. In the Fabulae, the claim is made that Calypso committed suicide after the departure of Odysseus, although an immortal committing suicide would be virtually strange. Others simply say that Calypso yearned for her lost love, looking out into the open horizon of the sea in the direction that Odysseus had departed. Let us finish with the following saying: "Each art must use its tool, each body its soul." Aristotle. That being said, remember guys to hit the like button and to subscribe to our channel, it would help us a lot. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for upcoming videos.